Hey there, fantasy owners. Welcome to Lift the Cup Fantasy, or LTC Fantasy as some call it. And we're going to continue to roll along with our fantasy team reviews. And we're going to look at the Boston Bruins, see who led them in their different stat categories for goalies, defensemen, and forwards. Who was the biggest disappointment fantasy-wise? Who was the biggest surprise fantasy-wise? And who was fantasy relevant on a weekly basis? Don't forget to subscribe. That way you can catch all 32 reviews, hopefully. Maybe you want to catch your favorite team's review or your rival reviews. And if you do subscribe, it's a lot easier to find that video, pull it up, and see how we see your team there. We'll get right into it. Some goalie stats. It was really close all around in every stat category for them. They had a really good tandem there. Swayman and Ullmark tied in games played at 41. Ullmark did squeak out wins at 26. Swayman squeaked out goals against average at 2.41. And Ullmark got him in save percentage at 917. Really, overall, they're a really great tandem all year. You could have either one on your roster and you wouldn't be disappointed. Probably best case scenario is to have them as your third goaltender and play them when they are confirmed. We'll jump into the defenseman stats now. And McAvoy, as you can see, did pretty much everything for them. He led them in goals at 10, assists at 46, points at 56, plus minus at plus 31. Connor Clifton did squeak out hits at 156. McAvoy was at 155, so he almost had him in that. He had him in blocks at 131 and shots on goal at 166. So McAvoy was a one-man show from the back end in the stat categories this year for them. We'll jump into the forward stats now, and no surprise, Pastrnak led him in goals at 40, and he even had a really slow start, so it was definitely picked it up there. Marchand led him in assists at 48 and points at 80. No surprise, Bergeron led him in plus minus at plus 26. He's in the Selke running every year, it seems like. Curtis Lazar, a little bit of a surprise there, led him in hits at 186 and blocks at 51. So after his career started, they were figuring he might be a good second-line forward, and he couldn't really stick with any club. Now he's kind of revised his role, and he's sticking around as a banger. And shots on goal, no surprise, David Pastrnak, he scored 40 goals. He's probably going to shoot the puck a lot. Had 312 shots on goal. Who was the biggest disappointment for them fantasy-wise? For me, it was Taylor Hall. He didn't have a bad season, but you expected more from him. He played in 81 games this year and had 20 goals and 41 assists for 61 points. Still a nice season. For me anyways, I would have liked to have seen more from him. Biggest surprise this year? It has to be Jake DeBrusk. He started out really slow, has that trade request in, gets bumped up to the top line, and he seemed to really take off when he was with Bergeron and Marchand. He ended up putting up 25 goals in 77 games played, this year. So overall, he is definitely worth streaming this year when he did move up to that top line. And for them, who is fantasy relevant on a weekly basis? Obviously, either of the goaltenders, you'd have to look at them. They're whatever one is playing, you're going to get 1 to 2 starts and get quality fantasy points no matter, as long as you're dressing them. From the back end, McAvoy did absolutely everything and had a fairly consistent year, so he's definitely worth keeping on your roster on a weekly basis. And for forwards, for me, it's obviously the big three, Marchand, Bergeron, and Pastrnak. They all had good seasons again. There's no reason seeing any drop-off. Mind you, Bergeron's getting a little bit older, but it should still be relevant on a weekly basis. There's other forwards that did have a good season, like DeBrusk and Hall, Halla, all of them, but they're more on a streaming basis more than I'd trust them on a week-in, week-out basis. Hope you did enjoy today's episode. We will be out in a few days with another one. If you did like it, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, and remember that notification bell. And good luck to all you fantasy owners out there.